Please work this time. We got frozen. The third live I've tried to do today, I got frozen in that one, and the other two just would not connect to the internet. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna have to do a little bit of an intro. Okay, wait, I'm just trying to, so that I can have communication in case something happens. I just need to log into something on here. Okay. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna have to do the intro. Like, well, there wasn't much intro. Okay. We were talking about, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the Olympics and the women's boxing situation with two competitors that, I gotta get the names again, okay. Amain Khalif of Algeria and, sorry, I don't have my ducks in a row here. Don't have my ducks in a row. So Lin Yuting is from Taiwan, okay. Someone said they failed a chromosome test. Was it chromosome or testosterone test? But like, I'm confused with the information, okay? And I was one of the people that when I initially saw what was going on and I saw like a video or photos, I assumed like, oh, I didn't know about the Taiwanese competitor till after. Like the whole thing was about Amain Khalif, who was competing against the Italian, what's her name? Everyone knows, I just want to, who did Emain, because I don't want to just be like, the Italian box, like, she deserves to have her name said. Carini is her, Angela Carini, okay. Hello, Naham, this is chaotic. Let's, like, cross our fingers that the Wi-Fi connection works. I don't want to jinx it, but, okay, I thought, okay, the headlines are running wild, and at first I did think this is, like, a trans woman, but it seems to be more complicated than that. So it's actually really hard to, like, people are just saying things that I don't know if they actually did. Okay, the latest that I found that kind of made sense with, like, people being like, oh, this person has, like, XY chromosomes, but it's like, when did they do that test? So the World Championships or something, I think, is when Khalif and, let's just say their last names, this is so chaotic, Khalif and Yuting, like, they were not allowed to compete in a very recent, I don't believe your lying eyes, okay. IBA, International Boxing Association, tested them in 2023. Was that test, do they actually do gender tests? Like, is the chromosome, like the XY, XX test, is that like a sex test, like a gender test? There's people saying that, like, that used to be, it was like, we don't want to go back to the times of doing these gender tests. Okay, yes. So I believe it's like, is it the Olympic Committee? There's a different association in charge of the Olympics, I guess, and they are not doing the same protocol and tests as they were, I guess, on the World Championships. My take on feminism. Third wave feminism is unhinged. I am not, woke's gone too far, so I'm not woke, but I'm friggin' nuanced. I'm nuanced, and people try to put me in a box. I have spoken about, my name is Alyssa. I have spoken about, I did videos on, like, trans women, official trans women competing in women's sports. If you've gone through male puberty, it's not fair. In my opinion, it's not fair. I'm from Canada. But this, like, people, so it's like, I get that there's been, you know, all these, like, trans women competitors, like, in the West specifically, like in the States, Canada, at times there's been, like, trans women in women's sports, and it seems really unfair and just not, I guess, it's not fair, not ethical in a way, and it's not like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then you're like transphobic if you're just like, I think there should be a different category. I don't know about like people who haven't gone through male puberty who are considered trans, but I would worry about like if you made it that then they children who are having identity issues are going to be more influenced to like go on like puberty blockers and hormones at like such a young age, like to the puberty blockers, I guess, like if you don't go through male, like I don't know how fair it is if like it's still biologically male but they didn't go through male puberty because they went through like puberty blockers, but I think there's a lot of risks associated with puberty blockers and stuff like that. That's kind of sketchy thing, but okay. Everyone has only one life. When dead, done. So chill and let all live their meaningless short lives the way they want. Do you agree? I'm curious, Augustus, do you mean like in the context of the boxing competitors, like it mean like it's like, she's just trying to live her life, let her live it. I just feel like they have like people can't go and take like in performance enhancing steroids and stuff like that. Like they have like they try to make it as fair as they can, but it's never going to be like completely fair. They can't came out of puberty with no nipples. They just kind of fell off. I'm sorry to hear that. That went off. Do you really need the nips though? Do you need the nips? I hope it's not an issue for you. Any tips for second grade being gay and on Sunday when I go to Boy Scout being a straight? What, are you making a joke? Or are you actually gay? I'm not, I am straight, but okay. A straight G, like a gangster? We're getting all into the politics. The abortion thing, I've done a video and it was like called My Complicated Stance on Abortion. I'm kind of like, guys, I just like, I can't decide anything either. So I don't even know, I don't make decisions with my opinions because like they change. Like I guess the abortion thing, it's like, I had like a second, when I was young, it's like, when I was younger, I'm 30 now, it was all just like, your body, your choice, this and that. Like I was not involved in politics at all. I was like, oh yeah, of course. I had a bit of a change of heart for myself personally. Like I don't really care what other people, like I don't know. My beliefs are like mixed because like I'm spiritual in a way, but the new age spiritualism creeps me out. Like I'm kind of just like feel like everything happens for a reason in a way, or there's just like a life path for people in a way, and sort of like if I don't know if a life was supposed to come in but it wasn't the right time, like I don't know. It's like weird though when it's like when someone's having like the power to like end a consciousness. Like I do feel uncomfortable. Like I don't know. I don't think about it all the time. I don't think about it. For me, when I was younger, I probably would have not thought about doing that. It just was so widely like accepted. There wasn't as much like pushback, that it got a bit more pushback. There was always the pushback from like the really religious folks, but now I don't know. It got too much, I think. It got too, like, 3 months in, 4 months in, like, I don't know. In Canada here, it's actually, there are no abortion laws, technically, sort of. Like, they will not perform one, I think, past 6 months, but, like, it's not illegal. It's just no one will do it because that's really, it's a lot when it's so far along. And then it's like, they should, it should be done as soon as you can, kind of, but then people would say like, but all in all, if you're ending a consciousness, it's like, it's black and white, like it's all or nothing. It's like so freaking difficult. It's difficult. But yeah, abortion's not birth control. That's the thing that I'm kind of like, people weren't having the knowledge anymore, education. I don't think there needs to be like this like intense shame about the thing, but it's sort of like a little bit of, hey, like this is the thing to the extreme cases, like when you're talking about like a grape situation, if you know what I mean, we're censoring the words a grape situation. it's sort of like, I feel like that was not their choice to get impregnated or something. And it's like, I think it should be totally legal and everything. And then there's other sketchy situations. So that's a thing, but it's sort of like, if you are just like, yeah, I don't want to use protection. I don't want to, like, I personally not on birth control, but I use other protections. And like, I have a long-term partner for 7 years, and like, I have not had any, maybe I'm infertile, guys, I don't know. But sometimes I'm kind of like, you can do a lot to not get preg. You can do a lot. So that's, hello. Sorry, I've been annoying the grape soda situation. God, but this is nothing to laugh. It's like such a horrible topic, but then when you use words like grape, it just like, it's just what we have to do on the YouTube, right? I already started rambling. I know. Okay, I didn't make the announcement in this one because I've tried to do this live a million times. So for the people that are familiar with my channel, usually the live streams are crazy unhinged, and a lot of times I like ignore the chat because I'm using it as a platform to get my rambles out, like as a therapy session. My plan is to make a podcast. I'm Neurotic, It's Chaotic, the podcast, and then usually this is like a Neurotics Anonymous chat, and I have a sign, but we're kind of doing a political-ish or Olympics talk today, so I don't have that. But I'm planning to do like a separate thing to have like my long-winded venting rambles, and so I can actually interact with you guys. We're already rambling though. My thing is when they abort because it's not convenient for them. Yeah, that's what pisses me off. I've known girls that had like 6 abortions, not because they couldn't take care of them, but they didn't want to. Yeah, I had a friend that like worked somewhere, and at a clinic, they did the abortions at the clinic, and then they did like STD testing and stuff, and she was like a counselor. She had to tell people if they had contracted AIDS. Like, she was a counselor, and it was a freaking tough job. But so there at the clinic, she must maybe had to consult with women also getting abortions, and she told me that there was like this this woman was in like a long-term relationship, and I think in her 30s, and it had like, I forget the number, but it was like 5 or so. It was like not just a couple, like, you know, abortion. It was like she had multiple repeated with this like partner it's like you're doing something that's getting you, I don't know, is there like other protocols you can take? Birth control though, like I mentioned, I'm not on it, but I've managed to still not get preggers not being on it. Like, I went on it once years ago for like a month, and that's it. And I don't like it because it messes with hormones and everything. I tried the IUD, gave me all this cramping, didn't like that either. So I got it taken out like a month after. Yeah. Caravaggio knows the lore. Is that how I pronounce it? Caravaggio. I believe it's Italian, maybe. She isn't gay, chat. She just has beef with her hair. It's funny because I'm not even, like, the time that, like, I'm not wearing an oversized shirt today. Usually I'm wearing, like, a men's extra large or something like that. I know the mullet, sometimes it's just, it needs to be more flat. I initially wanted a wolf cut, but yes, the Caravaggio knows that we had a hairdresser situation, so I said I might as well go for like a full mullet if I'm getting so many haircuts. So we went, but it's growing out already a bit, so it's looking more like wolf cutty, like what I first had anticipated. But I feel like it's just, I try to be unique, I try to be different, I try to do things like get mullets because I want to feel special. But I get that it's giving masculine. It's usually giving that, and people are confused. But my pronouns are poo-poos, and that should clear it up. So, I do not smoke the green. Like, I don't even know the terms. I can't. I get paranoid as hell. It's very scary. And the last time I was like, no more. So we're talking about the women's boxing situation, and I guess is there even that much to say? I had some thoughts about it. Like, I was trying to do this live a couple days ago when it was first a thing, but it's good I freaking waited because, like I said, I initially was like, oh, this is like a trans woman, and I disagree with Islam Unraveled, but yeah, you do you, I'll do me, but I don't have those beliefs. I think we are so much more than that, but we're having all the opinions today because that's what we do here. I like facilitating a space where we just can like, it's like, oh yeah, we can agree or we can disagree. It's like, yeah, I disagree, but we're not like hating each other and getting unhinged and going off, So, what's there to talk about? They let a dude beat up a girl. Sorry, I had a freaking alarm. So, that's the thing is I thought it was a trans one, but like it's more unique than that because I watched a video by this guy actually. Let me try to get it. He talked about the chromosomes and it's not even this person does very much resemble, like has male features and stuff, like physically. Are they intersex? Like they're saying not. Also, Khalif comes from Algeria and it's a quite, different thing going on there with like, say trans rights or not even that, like maybe intersex is like in other countries people have talked about, what happens when someone's born intersex and they do like surgery and stuff like that if it's not a medical issue at all, I don't think you should perform surgery like just to conform to something, because I've seen some stories about intersex. What has happened is like they had certain stuff going on down there. I don't really want to say all the words because YouTube censoring, I don't know what's going to happen, but they had a situation going down there that was not the same situation physical appearance wise, or there's people that were born intersex and then they end up maybe like, say they appear extremely feminine but they had like male parts down there, like, or vice versa. Like I've seen it where they do a surgery and they sort of like, it was easier to make the situation down there into one of the genders, so they do that, but then they appear physically the other way, so then that's like, and not how they feel. And then like, I don't think, if it's not a medical issue at all, like if you're born a certain way but it doesn't just like fit the standard, and like I know the doctors were really into like, we have to make it appear down there exactly like male or female looking, but there's people that they're born with different like say abnormalities in a way that makes them unique, that if it doesn't pose any medical issue at all, like why do surgery? And it's traumatic to just like cut off parts of someone that they were born with, that they don't have to do that, right? It is a mullet. Yes, the mullet's always a main topic of conversation. Wow, can't even talk, you mind, without being afraid of YouTube censoring. I'm not afraid. I just, like, they'll hide my live or something. Like, I guess I want more people to be a part of the conversation. I guess at the least, like, it's already gonna get demonetized because we talked about abortion. Like, when I had an abortion video, they demonetized it because it's like a sensitive topic in that. I just don't want them to, like, I'm not going to say the full, like, when I said grape, like, it's because they will, like, they potentially, like, they'll just, it's like, oh, this is too much and intense and inappropriate to, like, put on the main live feed. I don't know. That's why I'm using different words, because everyone uses their words, but I'm not scared of, like, sharing my freaking opinions. But, yeah. We have a fake, stupid notification warning that I'm gonna be banned if I don't stop the live, which is dumb. Okay. What will I be banned for? Are we joking? Yeah, they demonetize you. Yeah, it's like I could use the like $2. I could use the $2 extra, but like we're not even gonna be getting much revenue from this video anyways. Sometimes like you say keywords and then they will demonetize it, but then you can request a review and then they approve it. Like that's happened to me a lot. But if we talk too much about abortion and just that topic is a lot of times just off. They'll just demonetize that specific video, not my entire channel. So, and the lives, I don't want to like have to be like, oh, we can't even talk about this topic or anything. But like, if I can replace a word and you guys still know what I'm talking about, I'll do that. Like SA, if people know that abbreviation in that, because if you just say that word, you can still talk about the topic, but if you say the actual word, they don't like that. But it's like, we should be able to just talk about it. But I guess these words are too intense for people. I get some stuff can be triggering for sure. So, or you can cut out the part they dislike. I've had no issues on YouTube with my like controversial topics and videos. Like I've done little sketches and skits on gender. I would run into issues on TikTok. And the last time, like I have a different TikTok channel. There's Alyssa Being Me TikTok that I just started, but there's like a Diane Rhea character that identifies as gender fluid. I made a silly skit, and then TikTok, that one's still live, but I was doing some other videos, like someone was trying to call me transphobic in that. I'll use people's preferred pronouns, but I don't believe there's a million genders. My stance is I think there's male, female, intersex. I do think intersex is like a unique enough third category, but other than that, I might think like, oh, people are having a general identity crisis when they identify as like a different type of gender, or like, I feel like I could very much identify as non-binary, but also it's like maybe these people are having different struggles that I don't know of, that they're feeling very genuinely dysphoric. And like that's their way to cope. Like I've talked about this before, like I had gender dysphoria as a child to a certain extent before puberty because I'm very tomboy, and I'm 30 years old, so at that time it was like way less progressed, so it was kind of, and I have culturally, like half my family's Greek and more conservative in a lot of ways, or Greek Orthodox, and at the time it was not like, we weren't seeing it was more like conforming to the stereotypes and the like dress protocol in general, or it's just like the feminine thing was like attached to like clothing and stuff. But to me, like femininity is like having like maybe nurturing qualities, or like a lot of empathy. Like it's like how you freaking wear your, guys, men were wearing skirts in the Middle Ages. They were wearing heels and freaking skirts. So I think it's all stupid. I'm curious about shorts money. Were you really popular videos? Did that make millions? No, not on YouTube Shorts. I have one short that's like almost 7 million views, and I checked, but it wasn't making revenue for the first however many million views, because they only started, I think, doing YouTube Shorts revenue after I had already posted that. I could like find that one and tell you how much it's made in total. Let's see. But TikTok, they don't pay Canadians for TikTok, so I have like videos with like a couple million views on TikTok, but I've gotten zero revenue ever on there, and it's annoying. Like they pay Americans, but not Canadians. But the boxing, like I'm all for like women's. To me, the situation is like, it's on the Olympic Committee, I guess it would be, for, it's like, why were they not able to compete in the championships prior to this, like the women's boxing championships, I guess, like they didn't fit the criteria. But the Olympics, the thing is, I do think the Olympics is kind of woke, and I heard them say, because I don't want to get anything wrong and stuff too, but so take all this with a grain of salt, like do your own freaking research. I thought the Olympics said something like, we look to their passport, and if the gender on their passport says female, they go with that. Like, but that's, so it's on the, and I feel bad. Okay, if I was born with a certain abnormality that like made me have way more of an advantage, like I had high testosterone, if I was intersex, you'd still, like, if you love sports, and you want to do sports, and you want to compete, and if you can't because of that thing, like, it's not your fault that you have the advantage, but it's like it affects the other people in the category. Obviously, we need men, guys. We need men. I'm not anti-man. I'm very, actually, I don't like that, like, oh, men this, men that. Like, I do believe there has been a patriarchy. I don't like saying the word anymore because the word's been friggin' tainted. It's been patriarchy, this patriarchy, that patriarchy. Like, it's not like it was. It's not like it was at all. It's annoying when people act like we're living in a time that we really weren't, but I do think like there has been a lot of progression recently with things. You never talk about the comments. I'm responding to some, but like I have some things to say too. Why don't women who transition to men dominate male sports as much as frequency as male to female transitions dominate female sports? Exactly, because of the biology and, like men and women are different. I am not someone who's going to be ultra woke and be like, there's no differences. There's no differences. Like, women on average, obviously, like mostly, like we're not as strong as men. We're not as fast as men. Like, it doesn't mean that men are better. It doesn't mean men are better, but they're better at certain things, but we're better at other things too. Like, it's male and female, like we're supposed to like sort of what one lacks, maybe the other makes up, and it's this like cohesive like relationship, right? So, the patriarchy and the pedestal. What's the pedestal? Anyways, I forget who it was, but I was telling the person, okay, so this, I made $142.30 Canadian dollars on a 6.5 million video, but again, I believe this one, they didn't start doing shorts revenue till it was like maybe at 4 million, 5 million. Like I can't remember, so that could be totally inaccurate, but shorts revenue doesn't pay a whole lot. Oh, okay, sorry. What they were doing with the shorts is they had a shorts fund. So they were giving people, there was like just this little amount of money as a shorts fund, but they weren't, I think that's what it is now. But honestly, shorts, as far as I know, current times as well, it's really not good for revenue. So like it's just to get, it's marketing and to get your channel seen and out there. There's lots of reach, but the pedestal is what you're standing on right now. Oh, okay. Haha. Yeah, it's like the pendulum always swings too far is the issue all the time, always. So like women did need to speak up back, when things were bad and stuff, but now it's like swinging way too far the other way where it's like, well, men are or no, sorry, it's like women are so much better. Women are like, men are, they suck and they do nothing and they're used, like it's gone to the far the other. It's like, guys, we just need to like meet in the freaking middle. I'm not for like any freaking extreme, like, oh yeah, women are, I'm not for like women cause all the problems and women, like there's people going like ultra, like it was like a response to the like insane feminism, like someone like say Pearly Things, she's speaking which her truth is and doing her thing, like good for her for doing that, but I like really disagree with a lot of her stuff. Like there's some that I agree, but there's like, I get the concept of like women shouldn't vote because if there was like a war, like women aren't going to war, but I'm just like, in this day and age, I'm not in agreement to like, it's like there's some things that have been an issue that it's like an overstep of women. But then there's other, like, I don't, it's just freaking, we need to, okay. There's 3 genders, male, female, and idiot. I do think intersex is its own category. Guys, I think they should just have another category in the Olympics because it does suck to, I think though what's happened is these competitors, like there's apparently no evidence, there's no evidence that these, like Yu Ting and Khalif are like like identify as trans, like they were fully identifying as male for a certain point in their life and then they started identifying as female. There's no evidence yet of like that ever happening. I think they were born uniquely and it gives them certain advantages and stuff. Intersex is less common than you think. Yeah, it's very, very small. So like, yeah, there's male and female, and then I guess like intersex isn't like necessarily, it's like full on own category. It's like a mix of like male and female. So, but I guess I just personally, it's like, yeah, there are people though that don't exactly fit biological male female. Like that's why we have the term intersex, because it's like, well, they have parts of one gender and in other way hormones of a different gender, appearance of one, and like it's like you can't put them in a box, really. You can't say they're one or the other. It's like, oh, they or there's a certain condition, it's called, like they have hormonal something, I don't know. And it's, you know, sometimes I think they need medical intervention or stuff, or sometimes maybe they have issues with hormones, like, or there's people that have like PCOS and like their estrogen's too high or something. Like there's exceptions to like the rule of male female, but I don't think there's anything more like I don't think frog's a gender. I don't think frog is a gender. Well, there's frog pronouns. Someone on TikTok taught us about frog pronouns, but so yeah, my whole thing, like I did a sketch called, oh, what's it called? I don't forget what it's called, it's been so long, but it was like, it's a reasonable person being like, you know, I'll call people what they want to call, but I just don't think there's like infinity genders. I think people are like conflating personality traits and self-expression with gender. And then I dress up as a woke person with bright pink hair, and I'm just, or person practicing wokeism. I don't necessarily like labeling people like, oh, they are a woke person. Like we gotta have the humanity, because it's like we're forgetting, like we are all people, and that's the thing, is like we're losing just real human connection here, and people are like identifying with political views intensely and that, and it's like they won't even talk, they can't with you, they can't, it's like I can be friends with you if you support this person or that, or if you vote this way. It's like, it's really, they turn in the frogs gay. Alex Jones shout out with the frogs. And that's the thing too, is it's like two genders, what it's about with woke people having voices that sound like they're about to cry, the getting triggered. And it's, the word triggered now is so overused and like tainted, because I use it constantly because I have like mental health, like I'm so anxious, and I'm like I don't know have another word besides trigger, like triggers. Like it's like I went to the grocery store today and I had like I didn't, but this is hypothetical. It's like if I went to the grocery store, it's like, oh, this is a trigger for me. This is it. Like it triggers my anxiety. There's like so many things that trigger my stress and anxiety, but when I say it, it's just like, oh, so triggered us. But like when people are triggered by like, hey, I don't believe there's more than like, you know, male, female, intersex, like I don't believe any more than that and this, and it's just not a thing. And then it's like people getting triggered over that. It's like that doesn't affect, you can still have your little identity and do what you want. Like my personal little belief, what's in my head, is not oppressing you. Like that's not oppressing you. I'm for rights of certain people. It's nuanced. There's certain things that people would consider trans rights that I feel like oversteps women's rights. It's like we gotta like meet in the middle, right? We gotta meet in the middle. Yes, we get triggered because we've been programmed. We've been programmed by, for me, like people with narcissistic traits and being too empathic to a fault, and having guilt and being a people pleaser. If you're not aware that someone else like doesn't have as much empathy, or like if you're not aware that you're putting way more than you're receiving in a way, like you are gonna get freaking conditioned. But then you gotta sort that out, and there's things you can do. Like I used to just like have no boundaries and keep doing things and then complain when I didn't have to do those things, but because of the guilt I felt like I had to. But when you do realize your part in it, like you realize other people's personality traits, their character, these people, like some people are just like characters and it's fun and it's funny and it's whatever, but when actual like, if serious like ABUSE is going on, it's not healthy in that. And then but for me, there was like more serious things in the past, but now it's not as serious. But I still had like the conditioning from the past that was like acting like a scared little child, like that couldn't move out and live where I wanted and like not have to be spoken to and screamed at like on the daily. Like I didn't have that control, but now I do. So like just have boundaries with it. So yeah, I know I've talked about the family antics and stuff like that, but it's all good in the hood. I've been reconnecting with the fam jam, and but knowing my boundaries and knowing my worth and knowing what I will tolerate and what I won't and what I will give in terms of freaking emotional support and what I need to give to myself. But anyways, okay, girl, I want to tell you something. Okay, then tell it. Sorry, I've been ignoring. I've been reading and stuff too. I'm reading and talking at the same time. Just fart and smile. You're pretty level-headed. Yeah, and guys, I struggle being level-headed because people sometimes don't like that. Like people because of my sketches, they're like saying I'm right-wing and I'm like in today's day and age, yeah, they'd consider me that, but it's all stupid to me because what's right in politics now was like center or left leaning. It was like women's rights was very much more like a liberal thing, and then now it's like so and then it's like, oh, she's right, but it's so dumb. I hate, it's not like, for me it's not like I was left and now I'm gonna join the right side in this. Like people do that and each to their own, but they think I'm doing that and it's like, okay, that's not accurate. Or they think I believe all these other things in alignment with them, and then like someone was just like frustrated, they like are mad that I'm not, joining the right team, like the right side team. It's like freaking sports, guys. I'm like, the drama, like there's like, we're identifying too much with it. I feel like people do what you want, but for me, I cannot. It's like how I cannot be part of any religion. I take what resonates and I leave the rest, but I can't be like, hey, I'm part of this like group with these rules and I follow them with you guys. Like to me, it used to not be as much like that. It's like, oh, I vote this or I vote that. Like there'd be conservatives and liberals or Republicans, Democrat, I guess it is in the States, like hanging out, having a barbecue, talking politics, being like, oh, I disagree, but I, this and that. But these things that weren't even meant to be political have become completely a political thing. Like it's like the gender stuff now, it's like all associated with like a political party and everything. But then there's people who vote conservative that are LGBT, and then it's like they get flack for that. Or like someone like Blair White. I really enjoy watching Blair White. Who's trans woman who really speaks out again about like she's not into all the woke shenanigans. It's gotten too crazy, right? So I got diagnosed with ASPD. I got totally shocked. I knew someone with ASPD. I've delved a little bit into that. What's it like? Like, do you have empathy? Like, or do you have guilt? Like, I'm just someone that's like, so I'm the other way around. Like, it's like too much empathy is not good at all. Like, I realized there's like it's good to have lower empathy a lot of times, but if you don't have any, that can get a little bit sketchy. But if you're aware of that, and like I've seen a lot of stuff, like because people obviously too are like it's stigmatized. Like there's people who have ASPD, I would say that because of having lower empathy, it can like get them into trouble for sure in that. But it's not like, oh, everyone with ASPD is like, doing these not good things, criminal activity. It's like not true. I want to read the book called Psychopath. This lady who found out she was like a psychopath. There's like people with psychopath brains that are surgeons that are like doing a lot of work for the people, like things in society that we freaking need. We need people that are just like low stress response, low startle response to maybe fly a fighter jet. We need people like that in society. So my mom usually used to tell me, why is your heart a rock? I just understood what she meant. Yeah, it'd be hard to, like, if that's all like, the like empaths and the people that are non-empaths like trying to understand each other can be really difficult. Like I used to not get it. Like I used to like whine and be like, they shouldn't have reacted that way to my emotions or something. But I finally like realized, oh, it's not friggin' about me. Not everything's about me. It's like they just don't have that emotional connection or understanding, and it's like, oh, I'm going to talk about these things to a different person that more understands and gets and knows, and then this person I can shoot the shit with, and it's cool. It's, you know, you do have feelings. Like, sweet. I'm actually on, there's a subreddit called ASPD, or people with ASP, or is it it's Ask a Sociopath. I delve into that because I have had so many, like, so much interest about it and everything. And trying to understand, and so yeah, but I think they should just make a third category, guys, for the sports. I have Asperger's. Okay, what's the difference between Asperger's and autism? Is it interchangeable, or is Asperger's like a different, is it mild version of autism? There's like a whole spectrum, right? I would be curious how you deal with small talk. Like I like now I realize how much, like I feel like I could try to understand with me and my anxiety, my social anxiety. I feel like I maybe have some understanding of like what it's maybe like for autistic people who, like, sometimes I just can't do the fake thing. Like I'm not saying I'm autistic at all, but I don't speak in prime numbers. I'm not sure what that means. Do sometimes people just speak in numbers? I think, do people with autism, you simply skip questions? Guys, I can't answer every single question. I'm sorry, but I'm trying. Which questions am I skipping? I'm trying. I'm freaking, okay. I cannot manage. I do like technically have ADHD. I don't like identifying too much with a thing. Like I've been diagnosed with other disorders too, but I can't, I just so you know, like management stuff does not come easy. Like managing comments, I can't even answer texts like from people on my phone a lot of the time. I think they should make a third category for the sports and toilet. Oh dear. I think they should make a third category. Like, why not? I think it'd be very interesting because you could have people with a uniqueness to them competing, and it'd be its own different category. And if they had enough people to compete in the category, though. How does ADHD feel? It was a relief when I'm like, yeah, I have it, but I still have imposter syndrome about it in a way. Like, I've talked about that. Because, like, I just have imposter syndrome in general, so it's like, I don't want to be the, like, spokesperson of ADHD. But, for me, what also, connected, when I found out about ADHD, like, I had been researching the last couple years and everything and stuff, I had these other things that I was like, that I'm like, oh wow, that's part of it, and that's makes sense. Because like my freaking partner would not understand my sensitivities to lights and sounds sometimes, or mostly lights. Like I don't know, this could also just not, it's not just an ADHD thing, but like I have since a young kid, like I just started thinking back to when I was younger, and I'm like, oh, that's why I was so annoyed by like my skating costume more so. Like people were frustrated with me sometimes too, with I'm just like, this is bugging me, this is uncomfortable, like on my skin, like this is bugging me, this thing, this shirt, it's less scratchy today, but it's like this shirt felt like sandpaper the other day. That's a part of, like, it's just, I feel like I'm just hypersensitive. I feel like ADHD is very sensitive, and then also I can't, for me it's like one thing at a time. I bounce to different things, but for me it's not like I can multitask. Like I think there is a bit of a misconception. Is there a misconception that ADHD people like There's doing a bunch of things at a different time. For me though, it's like one thing usually takes my entire focus, but I don't like to just do one thing sustained. It's like I'm in this one thing and then I'm totally out of it. And that's why I'm sorry I ignore the chat. That's like I don't actively ignore it. It's like out of sight, out of mind. I'm on my ramble, I'm on my and like I can't pick, and then it's like all one thing or all the other thing. That's how for me the ADHD affects me. I feel like it's worse when I don't get enough sleep. It's worse when I'm not eating in alignment with it. Like carbs are not, I think, in alignment with me, but I find myself impulsively eating because I'm also looking for that dopamine hit constantly all the time. So that's a thing is I think you're more prone to addictions with ADHD. Luckily, I haven't had any substance addictions, but sugar, I would say, is an addiction. Do you even work? I don't really like my work, I guess is like usually we talk about mental health. Usually it's called Neurotics Anonymous. I have had various different jobs in the past and I pretty much struggled at I'm so crazy I can get anxious over any type of a thing. But my partner and I'm in a different city right now, but my partner Sean and we have this reaction channel. Like he's very creative and stuff as well. And I am so lucky and privileged that like we've been together for 7 years. I'm so lucky that like he supports me financially. I was very ashamed of that for so long and like I wouldn't even talk about it, but I don't work a job like a 9 to 5. I was making money from we've taken a really long break on our reaction channel. It's called Internet Rabbit Hole Daily, if anyone's interested, but it's quite niche. We react to like Bollywood, Mollywood, Tollywood movies. We got into like Indian content because we started off reacting to like songs of all different, we did some stuff in America songs, we did like Latin songs, and we would just do what was top trending. So we reacted to a Punjabi song one day, and then it kind of, oh hi, from Bangladesh. Me, I'm from British Columbia, Canada. So yeah, we found out about like Indian cinema is freaking so awesome. The movies are Three Idiots, my favorite freaking movie. From India, comedy, Amir Khan, it's hilarious. Nice. India's very, very clean, safe for women. India, is that sarcasm? I know that like there's definitely in India it is not as progressed with like women's rights and stuff like that. But it has in a lot of the place. I can't really speak on it either. Like from what I see. But it's like India's really really advanced and progressed in the technology and everything, but I think like in some of the movies, like one of the movies, it was the way the guy was like treating the female was I was like a little bit okay. But for movies, they also dramatize things. Like there's movies in the West that are like it's like make believe too. But like culturally, there is like it's a lot different in the West. It's a lot different. I know in India I would not be walking alone as a female, but there's places here that I also would not be walking alone as a female. So that's the situation. But yeah, I think there should be a third category. So. Oh, we got Eminem in the chat. But yeah, Sean and I want to actually go to India sometime to check it out and meet up with some people that we've met through the channel, and the culture seems vibing there, the music, the festivals, it seems really fun. So I look like Taylor Swift. Okay, I haven't gotten that one yet. I've gotten Billie Eilish a lot of the time. Haven't gotten the Taylor Swift. But anyways, I guess to conclude on the women's boxing, we didn't really talk about much, but I guess Amin Khalif had like another... she just competed against someone else from Hungary and beat them. Oh, I was going to talk about my theories. Like, okay... I guess one of my theories, and like, I don't know, if it was me, like, I hope, like, I just will feel bad, like, speculating about these people that are real people with real lives, and like, but they're a public person, right? And like, if people talk about me, like, people, that's their right, so, but I just have a guilt complex about speculating when I don't know. But I guess, like, I have you can roast me, okay. Do you want to start with the mullet? Last time someone said I looked like, I can't remember the name, but it was like this, like, Frankenstein looking character, and it was freaking hilarious. It was hilarious. I looked up the picture because my freaking head was like so big. But my speculation too, like in Algeria, like if people, like we talked about intersex before, like are there countries though that don't really accept it either in a way? Like they would not consider them intersex, they would just sort of like do surgery or really fit them into exact one box or the other and like not accept, say, intersex. Like there could be maybe people in different countries that are technically intersex. This is all speculation, but they were never identified that in that country, that like medically it was not, like there's cultural things, right? Thanks for the nice comment about the mullet. We're chilling, right? With the mole. Watching the feminists stay shut during the Olympics is funny, though. Yeah, like, they don't want to say anything. Is that what it is? Because it looks like, physically speaking, okay, these two competitors, physically speaking, it's like, I don't know how, there has to be, there's more testosterone. Yeah, intersex is rare. But it, like, they said it's a medical issue too, like a main caliph. They said it's for medical reasons, not because they're like trans or not. Like again, there's been like no evidence that these people have ever like these two competitors themselves, like Yu Ting from Taiwan and Khalif from Algeria. I don't think they are woke at all. I'm speculating they come from places I think that are not super, like I don't think I don't like when if they get targeted, like to me it's the Olympics' fault for not making it fair, like for doing the proper testing if they weren't allowed to compete in the world championships. Oh yeah, the opening ceremony was like, okay, this is the thing too about the opening ceremony. At first I was just like, oh heck, it was a thing. People were saying, all the Christians were like, this is exactly the Last Supper. It's exactly the Last Supper. I did some digging because I try to be level-headed and everything too. And at first I was just like off-put by it because there was also like a guy standing next to a kid in a very, very short shorts. And people were fully saying it was like his junk was hanging out. I saw there was a clarification. He had a hole in his tights. I personally, like, I don't see the point to me it is inappropriate to, like, we don't need to, like, mesh drag that's been known to be an adult entertainment. Like, drag to me is adult. They say it doesn't have to be, but it has been. That's where it came from. Like, it started in the clubs and the bar, like, 18 plus, to mix that with children. Like, children don't need to be there. It's the same as someone who's straight doing like a straight entertainment stripping. Like it's not a freaking because it's a gay thing or LGBT. That's the thing. It's like, to me it's uncomfortable anything that's like more adult entertainment. Like if someone was like dancing provocatively, not in drag but in whatever, like stripper and stuff like that, like, and children, like they tried to make children like a part of it because it was like like I don't know, it's like too sexual, it's too associated with sexuality, and there's been like really, I've seen footage of like inappropriate performances for children to be attending and stuff. It's not, yes, drag is for adults, agree. Lass like Irish, like lad or lad, what is, sorry, I know you keep, is it like a term of, oh, lass, a girl or young woman, huh? Lass from Yorkshire, I'm not good at the accents. I always just go into Australian when I try and do like British now. Not a Christian, but I'm not going to watch that crap again. Yeah, it's like I feel they made so much of it's just like there's the pride events, there's a lot of acknowledgement now, there's a lot of everything, but I feel like, okay, what I dug into the Olympic opening ceremonies is, Yeah, the Last Supper. Oh yeah, okay. I didn't finish. Okay. So they said this guy's junk was hanging out. It was really a hole in his tights, and that makes more sense because I looked at the photo again and it made sense. The opening ceremonies, okay. It more so, I think it was Greek mythology. I'm actually half Greek. I don't think it was the Last Supper. So the Christians have their panties in a twist. I wasn't the biggest fan of like a half naked man sitting on a table, like, and then I didn't think the child should have been there because the child was, that was the thing. They did other performances, so I'm like not always remembering, but the whole, I think it was Greek mythology was what people were saying was like blasphemy and stuff of the Last Supper. So I don't think, because the guy was blue, guys. The guy was blue. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, I found out that I think like the director is, you know, part of the LGBT community, like or I don't know if it's direct, I don't know their exact position because I never know. It says Yayake Papu in Greek, or Yayake Papu means grandma and grandpa in Greek. This one says I am me. It's very screwed up. I should have left when the girl was like ripping up her stencil papers in frustration, but also it's messed up because I tried to remove it. It's intense. I'm an intense person. I tried to remove it because I got in acting school and I thought I could remove a tattoo myself. Like, I don't know, it's weird. It was a representation of the Last Supper. Was it though? Like at first I was like, why, like I'm not Christian, but I'm like, why do your own thing? Like if you're gonna do it, do your own thing, whatever. I do think they made, like, it was very much a part, like I think this director of the Olympic ceremonies, director something, who's part of the LGBT community, I think they really tried to like embed so much of LGBT into the ceremony. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any at all, but it did seem just like highly influenced, and sometimes it's just like, okay, let's have some more balance almost in a way. Like I'm sure they had other stuff going on. I wasn't able to watch it because I don't have cable. I'm not Jewish. I get asked that so many times. I'm half Greek. I'm 10% native. I'm some like Irish, some British, a little bit of French, tiny bit of Italian. I don't know. I have 23andMe, and I was going to just like have my 23andMe just there next time because, sorry if I'm overreacting. I'm not, it's fine asking me what I am, but just the other live, it was like the other lives, it was like, there was like so many questions of like my ethnicity, and like new people would hop on and be like, oh, are you this? Are you from here? Are you this? So I'm like, I should just like have in the welcoming thing, I should have in the welcome message like 55% Greek, 10% native, this person, like just like show my stats and then people don't have to be confused. Okay, someone makes hand cream. Okay, that's cool. I use like tallow cream sometimes, which is interesting. It's like beef fat. I'm a weirdo with the skin stuff, but also I'm allergic to like everything, guys. I tried to like not be so like everything has to be natural and organic, everything, and I tried to use like normal skin products, and then I was allergic to everything. So, but my cream now, I use just like a generic, just like Lubriderm day cream, but I used to just like, I would put the freaking beef fat on the tallow cream during the day, and it was so greasy, and then my hair got greasy. So I finally found one cream that does not make my face itch, but I couldn't use like anything, like any of just like the basic face creams. So anyways, read my hand cream comment out loud. Cream. Are you just like, is this what is, I already said it, and sometimes I just don't know if there's, is it like a joke, or is it, I don't know what people are saying. Like sometimes I don't get it because I'm trying to manage in that, and like some people are just like making like sexual innuendo sometimes, and I don't know if that's happening, so I'm analyzing and trying to manage. But if you actually make like hand cream, and no, I don't want to say I'm not going to say the full thing. I said you make your hand cream. Yeah, that's disgusting. That's fucking gross. Goodbye. So Billie Eilish. I do get the Billie Eilish thing a lot. What were we talking about? I thought I was Olympics. I don't know. It's gone. I think I'm going to need to end the live here in a sec. Okay, Wild American, can you just stop saying the same thing? I'm gonna have to, remove. Do you want to be removed? Because I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. Okay, thanks. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to end the chat, but, oh, sorry, the Olympics, the opening ceremonies. Oh, yeah, we said. So it looked like Greek mythology because the guy was blue. I don't think it's the Last Supper. It looked like the Last Supper, but the costumes they were in were like, they did look like resembling different Greek gods and stuff. And especially, like, there's a big blue guy on the front of the table. Who knows, though? Like, they could have been also making it look, resembling too, like they could have had influence by that as well because they're all at the big table. Like it just looked too similar for the Christians as well. Like even if that really wasn't what they were trying to do at all, it's like, okay, if you're gonna do Greek mythology, don't make it look like the Last Supper, then don't make it look like the Last Supper. But I don't necessarily think like the chick in the crown was trying to be Jesus. I think it was like Athena or something. I don't know. I don't think she was trying to be Jesus. It's just like I try not to make assumptions because we don't fully know and it might look like a certain way, but that's where sometimes if you're really thinking that it's all this one thing, like it's always shitting on Christianity, it's always doing that, like you're going to see it everywhere and everything. I don't think this was like the biggest stretch to connect it to the Last Supper, but again, when you look at it again and they give the explanation of it being like Greek mythology, the guy's painted blue, and they're wearing like these crown, or is she in like a toga? I just want to see Paris Olympics opening ceremony. Okay. I guess they're gathered around a table and then there's the blue guy. So they made it too similar, but I don't necessarily think they were, like, it could have been an accident, it could have not. Like, I just don't jump to conclusions, guys. I don't jump to conclusions. Yeah, not a fan of Trudeau here. I'm not a fan. I know you see my comments. What? No matter, it's the Last Supper. But that's like, I can't definitively say it looks too similar. Like, either there's so many possibilities too. It's sort of like they could have been like, okay, they could have been like, let me collect my thoughts. They could have made their plan like, oh, it'd be cool to be around a table eating. Like, obviously it's so obvious to, like, or maybe it's not. Like, now that we've seen it and you analyze it, you think of that thing. Like, I guess you see the whole imagery and everything. Like, who knows? Maybe they were planning this out and they maybe made that connection, was like, this is gonna look like the Last Supper. Like, we're not trying to do that, but it's really gonna look like that. Like, that alone is like chance for reconsideration. It's like, okay, let's do something else, because it's like they're gonna associate it with the Last Supper. Like, they might not have been trying to, they might have wanted to do this like idea with this like plate thing with this guy. But it's kind of interesting how the Dionysus character, like the blue guy's like on the table and then he's blue but no one else is, and then he's like, is he supposed to like represent the feast or something? Like, they could have, I don't think it was just Last Supper inspiration. That's my point too. Like, I don't think it was just that, because there's this blue guy and it's, or it could have been like Last Supper with a massive twist. And it's just like, the thing is, obviously they wouldn't, dare to do this with certain other religions. I'm also of the notion, though, it's like, okay, is this so powerful? Like, if you are Christian and stuff, and you see this and this happens, like, if it is the Last Supper and they're sort of like disrespecting it and everything, do they actually have any power? Like, are they actually a threat by mimicking something and that, like, and there's just different levels of like what's okay. Like, I know in Sikhism you cannot, even if you're just making a movie about like the gurus, like, you're not allowed to. I watched a like cartoon even that had the gurus in them, because they were real people and everything that lived and were like Sikh warriors and stuff, and they only were allowed to have a still image of the guru. Like, he couldn't even be a cartoon that moved. It was just a still image, but his sons were like cartoons. And I'm someone personally too, I kind of think it's like, I think the blue guy is actually Trudeau. I'm someone who's just like, I don't vibe with religion specifically for the fact of like the utter worshiping of certain, like, I might offend some people here. I don't care. I don't think Jesus was, like, I think he was a cool dude. I think he was an enlightened, like, hippie dude chilling. I don't resonate for me personally in, like, he's the son of God. Like, he was, like, the incarnation of God on earth. And it, like, I don't believe that. Like, I believe there's, like, a God energy, like, a collective conscious, like, there's like a source that we all come from, I believe, that is kind of the creator of creation in a way. Like, I don't know, I'm just into not religious stuff, but I vibe with like even Buddhism. Though I went one time to a Zen meditation and we had to like bow down to the golden Buddha and stuff, and like, to me it just defeats the purpose of the teachings. Like, I just feel like maybe that's not what the Buddha wanted, because it was like, we're all sort of equal and we're like, there's showing respect, but then like, the worshiping thing, like the hierarchical stuff and like the status, and that's where things go haywire. Because in my opinion, like with the Christianity or with Catholicism and stuff, like, I think the church, they have way too much power. Like, they worship the priest in a type of a way where like they try to say like the priest is like closer to God, or he can talk more directly in some of these religions, or because I could be getting it totally wrong, but like, there's been friggin' issues with the priest in the Catholic Church and ABUSC going on and sketchy ass horrible things, and it's like, they're not any more special, and so that's how I feel. They were P-word in Dancing with Children. Yeah, no, I talked earlier, like, the drag should not be mixed with the children at all. The drag is an adult thing, not okay at all. So yeah, I totally with you there of it being inappropriate with children. I don't think it's like people that happen to be not fully dressed were dancing beside children. Like, I don't think they were engaging in full, P-word activities with child. Like, it's nuanced to, it's like, I'm not going to stretch it to being like, oh, they're doing full whatever, but like, you should know, like, I don't think they're trying to do that. It's just stupid though to mix those adult things. They're trying to be like, well, this time it's not like an adult thing, we're just like in our snazzy outfits and we're not like partaking in, like, say, sexualized types of stuff, or like dance. But yeah, you cannot dance, you should not be dancing in a certain style of way, like beside a child or something. Like, I could only really see still images because I couldn't watch they don't show the footage of the Olympics, right? But all in all, like, dressed a certain way, like having hardly any clothes on, and like they're dressed provocatively too. It looks like to me, or at least like the guy on the table is in like underwear. There doesn't need to be a friggin' child like behind him there. Like, don't either dress appropriately for having children be a part of the performance, or if you're gonna dress in an adult manner, don't have children. Like, so that's where that's what I feel of it. Yeah, it's not that far of a stretch when they get so close. Yeah, like they should be feeling, you'd think they'd be feeling uncomfortable doing that and not want to like, and so that's the thing. Okay, this stretch is for me. I just don't want to make like rash claims of like this was those people's intent, like they wanted to be that close to the children and dancing that way. I just don't, we don't know that, but it's like someone who's in that position, it's going to attract someone that might want, that is creepy, that's the danger of this whole thing. Is it's not like, you know, the issue is when people try to then say all drag is bad and all drag is inappropriate, and or all drag queens or all people part of this group are like creepy with children. Like that's not what we want to do at all here. Like that's the issue, is there needs to be some friggin' boundaries with the whole thing. But then again, if these things are happening, like if they're allowing people to do drag story time, like they're allowing someone who is able to dress provocatively and they're like, well, it's just a drag story, like it's not an adult thing. Like you might have a person who's like, oh, we're gonna be performing around and they, if they are happen to be a creepy person, they're around everywhere, they're around in every group and every this, like that's where you facilitate something bad friggin' happening. And it's the same with like, guys, the Nickelodeon stuff too. It's like you don't allow relations like with the adults and the children. You always have a parent around and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, there's parents taking their kids to these things. So it's like, do you ban like, you know, all out drag with children, adults, be like that's an adult thing and that can't happen all, or do you put it to the choice of like the adult? So the adults, I don't know, it's like if you go to Pride and there's like really inappropriate things for children happening there, don't take your kid, you shouldn't be taking your child to Pride, like they shouldn't be exposed to that. Yeah, no, adult drag can be very funny, but it's adult, exactly. Guys, I want to go to a freaking show, they seem so fun, like I'd love to go. Supposed to be going to Vegas at some point, and that's the thing here, is it's like there was a drag queen that spoke out about the children's stuff, very level-headed, like, so I feel so sad for drag getting slammed all outright. Like it's just sad what's happening, because then there are people that are like really legitimately hateful, and like also just think people that live their own life, do what they want, love who they love, like they think those people shouldn't be doing that, or just shouldn't be, they think just horrible things, that it has nothing to do with them, and people getting treated in certain countries like really, really inhumanely. It upsets, it makes me, actually makes me really angry, like it makes me upset. So so for me, again, it's just like the nuance, the figuring out what's really going on, and you have to be very careful to be like, you have to be careful to be like, you know, these people are all this way or that, like it's not that at all whatsoever. But it doesn't look good for the community when they're not making boundaries and they're like letting things happen. And that's why I follow a lot of people that like are part of, you know, LGBT, that are gay or trans or whatever, that like do not feel though a part of their community anymore. Like with the events and everything happening, they are not resonating or in alignment with the shenanigans that's going on, that's like inappropriate and stuff. So, but anyways, okay, we'll leave it at that. But I just wanted to say it's the women's boxing doesn't seem to be this like cut and dry thing. So I wanted to share my thoughts about it. But yeah, when I first heard about it, I thought it was a certain way. But yeah, I do think the Olympic Committee should just have done the test that the other places seem to do. And that's the issue, that they might not be wanting to do that if the Olympics is like making it a political thing about how they're going to be seen, excluding people that identifies, they are, I don't know, it's intersex maybe, or sort of biological, high testosterone, medical issue, whatever, like they might be seeing it as like everyone has a right to, if it says one female on your passport, like you should just go. So anyways, yeah, I know it's gonna, you were referring to how long it's gonna take for me to leave, because I know I just like never leave, just like could talk forever and annoy and bore people. But thank you, I really enjoyed interacting too. Industrial sound fantastic, thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one.